Unknown forms in the sky surprise and alarm citizens below, sometimes causing governments to do battle with the unexplained. Belgium, the center of Europe, and the focus of one of the most famous UFO encounters in history. On the evening of November 15th, 1989, police officer Francis Michelzik had completed a few hours of routine patrol in Enns, a Belgian village near the German border, when Michelzik says he looked up and became one of the first witnesses of the Belgium Wave.
Nous avons observé une masse importante qui était dans le ciel.
We saw a large mass in the sky, a triangular mass with three lights oriented downward, about 200 meters from our police van.
Cet objet ne faisait pas de bruit et il était immobile.
The object was silent and immobile. This object did not correspond in any way to anything we'd seen before.
À ce que nous avions déjà pu voir dans le passé.
2 weeks later, Dieter Plumens, a member of the Gendarmerie, the Belgian National Police Force, heard over the police radio fellow officers nearby reporting a strange object in the night sky.
At first, when we heard our colleagues talking to dispatching, we thought they were crazy.
Plumens requested permission to investigate, and when he reached the edge of town, he says, witnessed an astounding sight.
We stopped right in front of the nursing home, and there was an immense object over our heads. The object had three lights at its extremities and a blinking red light in the center. At a certain point, I saw a small object leave the large thing, an object which was also flashing, which came straight down and then turned and flew around the back of the nursing home. After that, the large object transformed itself into a single light, and we followed it toward Germany.
Belgian radio and TV were soon filled with reports of similar sightings, prompting hundreds of calls to the office of the top UFO research group in Belgium, known by its acronym SOBEPS. Over the next several months, researchers documented more than 800 so-called close encounters. SOBEPS eventually published 2 thick volumes on the Belgium Wave.
Specific characteristics of the phenomenon were reported by many people.
Then, on March 30th, 1990, the Belgium Wave story took a dramatic twist. Near midnight, several police officers called the NATO radar installation with reports of a UFO. Within an hour, that facility and a second radar station were both tracking an unknown flying object. The Chief of Operations for the Belgian Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel Wilfred de Brouwer, ordered Ground Command to scramble a pair of F-16 fighter jets armed with missiles. A supersonic, high-tech cat-and-mouse game ensued. The jet's radar locked on to their targets 9 times, but with each lock-on, the object drastically changed its position. After an hour, the F-16s lost contact and returned to base. For weeks, the encounter was kept under wraps, but Colonel de Brouwer felt compelled to share what he knew. During an interview with a reporter from one of Europe's most popular magazines, de Brouwer described what happened. Within days, de Brouwer called a news conference and told reporters from around the world what he knew and what he didn't know. This is what the pilots saw on their radar. The UFO appears as a diamond in the center of the screen.
What these pilots detected was well outside the normal flying envelope of an airplane. In other words, sometimes they had what we call lock-ons on a target, which gave a parameters varying from speeds between 150 knots till 990 knots. an acceleration which occurred in a few seconds. These speeds would be impossible to tolerate for a human being.
Colonel de Brouwer never suggested the mysterious flying craft was from outer space. He only said its speed and rate of acceleration were unexplained. Over the next few months, the sightings became more sporadic, and the Belgian Wave came to an end. Did the skies over Belgium become a way station for alien spacecraft? If not, what did thousands of people witness? Physical evidence is the key to proving the existence of UFOs. The Belgium Wave, despite hundreds of credible eyewitnesses, has produced only one piece of convincing evidence: a photo taken by a civilian bystander in the town of Petit Rechon. The photo was examined by former NASA scientist Richard Haynes, a specialist in vision, optics, and human perception.
My analysis of the Petit Rechon photograph suggests very strongly to me that the object that was photographed does not obey laws of physics as we know them. Second point I would make is it's not a forgery. And finally, I think that there may be some clues in this photograph having to do with propulsion and lift.
Belgian scientists and skeptics tried to calm what they considered the UFO hysteria of the Belgian Wave. A professor at the Astrophysics Institute at Belgium's prestigious University of Liège, Pierre Mega, decided to put the Petit Rechon photo to his test.
We tried to reproduce this photograph, and we produced this picture, which is well, very close to the original picture. So I think the only way to go ahead and to try to understand more is to do as we did, to analyze the witness report together with the photograph and to see if everything is consistent. And there are so many inconsistencies that it's very hard to believe it's a true picture.
I don't see how someone could recreate this down at almost the grain level of the film.
The most convincing evidence for the skeptics' position involved the radar lock-ons of the F-16s. Belgium's Electronic War Center analyzed the radar tapes and found that the object descended below ground level at some points, a physical impossibility. The center concluded that all but one of the radar lock-ons were really caused by electromagnetic interference or unusual atmospheric conditions. Eventually, even SOBEPS agreed. But one major question remains unanswered and unexplained. Experts say that when ground-based and air-based radar track the same object simultaneously, the object is real. One of the lock-ons, a simultaneous tracking of the UFO by one of the F-16s and the ground radar station, has never been explained.
If I remember, it's lock-on number 9, which has some very weird characteristics, and these characteristics doesn't fit with atmospherical explanation, not at all.
Thousands of people still wonder if what they saw came from another world. Others ask if that single perplexing radar report is a clue to civilizations in distant galaxies. Questions for those who find answers in the unexplained.